This is an iPod touch digitizer repair and what we have here is a crack in the digitizer, not a major one, but one that might not be happy to have. This happens to be a Generation 2 iPod. I could tell by the digits on the back, the EMC number. So I ordered through eBay for the low price of $20 a completely assembled front end frame. So this is the digitizer on the mid frame with the home button and the flex cable as well, which is a fantastic deal, straight from China, including shipping, $20. So just look for this kind of thing. This is the way to go, I think, rather than having to assemble all the parts separately. Now notice on the inside there is a little piece of plastic covering right here, and then also on the outside there's a plastic covering. So just before we do the final assembly, so to avoid fingerprint smudges, we're going to remove the piece of covering and then close the case. You can tell this is a type, this is a 2 and not a 3, Generation 3, because the cable will flip out on the Generation 2. Generation 3 has a different format, flips up, I think. Okay, so let's get ready here. This is one of the hardest parts, and that is to separate the original digitizer from the metal frame. And probably the first thing to do is to sort of to prepare you for this is to get an idea of where to separate the mid frame from the metal case. And if you look very, very closely on the magnifications, you can just see the edges of the mid frame that this is set into. You can see the kind of plastic that is along the between the metal frame and the digitizer is the mid frame, and so the separation that you're going to try and develop here is between the mid frame and the metal. So using these tools, you can start by sliding them in there, and so when we look at this setup here, you see where the clips are on here. On the lower part, the clip is here, here, and here on this side, and up here. So there's no clip in the middle here, which might be a good place to start, like up in the middle here, to get your tool in enough to get down to start to unclip these clips that are holding the digitizer in the frame. On the other side of so that's on the left side of the frame. On the right side of the frame, you'll find these same clips in different places, here, 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 and here. So the right side of the frame is more firmly clipped. So starting on the left side in this corner over here where the controls are is probably a good place to start. And just to be complete, the final clips are on the bottom, in the middle, and I'm sorry, on the top, in the middle, and the bottom on either side. So if you want to, you could perhaps mark these with a little bit of marker or something just to remind yourself of where to work. So we're going to start here, and I thought I'd go ahead and just run this in real time as much as I can, because you'll see how difficult this is to do. It's difficult but not impossible. And first of all, I mean, what I've done, I've got long nails here because I play guitar a little bit, so I kind of run this around my fingernail around here, all around the outside of the frame, just to sort of get the goo loose and just get a feel of how deep I can go I'm trying to go between the digitizer and the metal frame, and kind of warming it up, getting it softer, which is probably not a bad idea if you could warm it up if you wanted to. Okay, so what did I say here? We're going to start on the frame up in here, at where the buttons are, and I'm going to make sure I'm going between that part of the frame and the digitizer. Okay, so I'm just sort of working it back first, kind of getting, it looks like there's some kind of glue or goop that is either seeped in there or that's part of their assembly. So just sort of go around here and try and loosen things up a little bit. And I'll go around like that. There's some stuff in there. I'm not sure if that's just, I doubt if that's dirt. I think that's glue from the factory assembly, or a little residual glue. And it's a little tighter over here. In fact, it doesn't look like I'm getting between the digitizer and the metal frame, so I got to kind of push against the metal frame and get in there. Of course, now when you do this disassembly, you will destroy the mid frame. So you need to, if you can't find that setup like I did, the $20 deal, all pre-assembled, then you need to buy the mid frame and the glue, or the stickum, and the you can replace your flex cable. You can transfer your flex cable, but it's a little tricky too. So it'd be nice if you could get the whole setup, but I don't know. So this is one of those things that you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of time to go about it nice and easy. And of course, since the digitizer is cracked, I guess it's really not that critical that you get it out in one piece. And so I guess you can just sort of be a little bit rough with it. But I think you have to realize that also that the screen is intimately close to the digitizer underneath there, and so if you are too rough with the digitizer, you run the risk of cracking the screen. So do the best you can with this job. These tools are, they're already starting to wear out just in this little bit here, and trying to get some purchase. Well, there you see my screen's already kind of cracking as I lift it up. Yeah. Here, there's a little something. See, it looks like I'm picking up the screen and not the frame. That's probably the glue that I'm getting. But what are you going to do? You got to get it out. So I imagine if you are just trying to repair the screen and not the digitizer, you might find yourself risking destroying the digitizer in the process. But what are you going to do? Your iPod is broken anyway, so you got to do what you got to do.